ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवाय गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So let me share my screen. Before I do, does anyone remember what were the 6 questions that Arjun asked Lord Krishna? Anyone remembers? Any one question from the 13th chapter? Vedas Prabhu, do you remember?
The field, knower of the field.
Yes, very nice. So the field and the knower of the field. Oh, wait a second. I did not put on my AirPods. Just a second. No. Am I audible, Prabhu?
Yes, bro.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So yeah, the field, who is the knower of the field? What is knowledge? What is to be known? What is nature, Prakriti? So these were the questions asked. Krishna explained few of those, and now he's going to further explain the questions he has in now. So 13.13, you can raise your hands. I don't know. Aman Prabhu, you line up everyone, okay? So that they can decide the verses. So everyone please raise your hands and Aman Prabhu can take the name and then you have to decide. I'll decide this one. ज्ञेयं यत्तत् प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वा मृतमनुष्यते अनादित्म परं ब्रह्म न सत्यनात् सदुच्यते. Translation: I shall now explain the noble, knowing which you will taste the eternal. Brahman, the spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. The Lord has explained the field of activities and the knower of the field. He has also explained the process of knowing the knower of the field of activities. Now he begins to explain the noble, first the soul and then the super soul. So if you are attending for the first time or if you've missed the previous classes, it must be so confusing for you. So let's go at a time, each word at a time. So the Lord has explained the field of activities and the knower of the field. What is the field? Our body, where you perform action, the medium by which action is performed, that is the field. Okay? The knower of the field, we are the knower of the field. I know my body. I know when I want to go for a walk, when I want to sleep, when I want to eat, what I want to eat. So I am the knower of the field, but at the same time, there is another knower of the field, and that is Lord. Krishna knows about everyone's field. I only know about mine. Can everyone please mute themselves? I think someone is not on mute. Thank you. And then he has also explained the process of knowing the knower of the field of activities. So he has explained the process of knowing the knower. How can we know the knower? Who is the knower? Krishna is the knower. Now he begins to explain the noble, first the soul and then the super soul. By knowledge of the knower, both the soul and the super soul, one can relish the nectar of life. As explained in the second chapter, the living entity is eternal. Bhagavad-gītā 2.20. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूय अजो नित्यं शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. So that means the living entity is eternal. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. You cannot kill it. And ajo nityam shashvatovam purano. Ajo means ajanma, that which has never taken birth. So that means all of us, we have never taken birth. We are all eternal. This is also confirmed here. There is no specific date at which the Jeev was born. So if someone asks your birthday, Your birthday is your material birthday. But in reality, you and I, we were never born. Krishna was never born. It is very difficult to understand this philosophy, but this is the truth as per Bhagavad-gītā 2.20. Nor can anyone trace out the history of the Jivatma's manifestation from the Supreme Lord. Therefore, it is beginningless. The Vedic literature confirms this. In the Katha Upanishads 1-2-1-8, Jayate Mriyate va Vipaschit. The knower of the body is never born and never dies, and he is full of knowledge. The Supreme Lord as the Super Soul is also stated in the Vedic literature in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.1.6 to be the chief knower of the body and the master of the three modes of material nature. In the Smriti, it is said, the living entities are eternally in the service of the Supreme Lord. This is also confirmed by Lord Chaitanya in his teaching, Kivera Sarupavai Krishna Nityadas. Therefore, the description of Brahman mentioned in this verse is in relation to the individual soul, and when the word Brahman is applied to the living entity, it is to be understood that he is Vijnana Brahma as opposed to Ananda Brahma. Ananda Brahma is the Supreme Brahman personality of Godhead. So all these words we had understood in the previous verses. What is Ananda Brahma? So when it is in the full bliss form, that Brahma is called Ananda Brahma, and that is Krishna. Vijnana Brahma is for the Jnanis. So they go for this Vijnana Brahma. Okay. Now, I was about to say something mentioned in this translation to the individual soul. To be understood that he is Vijnana. Okay, so we'll move ahead. When it clicks my mind, I'll go back to that. 13.14. Yes, Aman Prabhu, who's next?
Amit Prabhu with this side.
Okay.
Sarvata panipadam tat sarvato shiromukam sarvata sutimala sarvam avritya tishtati. Translation. Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, heads and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the Super Soul exists, pervading everything.
As the sun exists, diffusing its unlimited rays, so does the Super Soul or Supreme Personality of God. He exists in his all-pervading form, and in him exist all the individual living entities, beginning from the first great teacher, Brahma, down to the small ants. There are unlimited heads, legs, hands and eyes, and unlimited living entities. All are existing in and on the Super Soul. Therefore, the Super Soul is all-pervading. The individual soul, however, cannot say that he has his hands, legs, and eyes everywhere. That is not possible. If he thinks that under ignorance, he is not conscious that his hands and legs are diffused all over, but when he attains to proper knowledge, he will come to that state. His thinking is contradictory. So these can only be in the Bharati of Lord Shiva. So his Bharati were all Bhoot, Pret, Pisach, and the whole fraternity of Bhoot, Prets. So they had their hands, legs, and eyes everywhere. Some had no hands, someone had 10 hands, someone had no body, someone had different parts of body lying here and there, hanging in the air. So that is not for normal people, that is abnormal people. But for us, it is very set of rules that this is how we are. But for Krishna, he is Swarat. He can have unlimited hands, unlimited legs, and unlimited everything. He is unlimited. Okay, so if he thinks that under ignorance he is not conscious that his hands and legs are diffused, we've done this. This means that the individual soul, having become conditioned by material nature, is not supreme. The supreme is different from the individual soul. The Supreme Lord can extend his hand without limit. The individual soul cannot. In Bhagavad-gītā, the Lord says that if anyone offers him a flower, a fruit, or a little water, he accepts it. If the Lord is a far distance away, how can he accept things? This is the omnipotence of the Lord. Even though he is situated in his own abode far away from earth, he can extend his hand to accept what anyone offers. That is his potency. In the Brahma Samhita 537, it is stated, Goloka eva nivasati akhilatma bhuta. Although he is always engaged in pastimes in his transcendental planet, he is all-pervading. The individual soul cannot claim that he is all-pervading. Therefore, this verse describes the Supreme Soul, the personality of Godhead, not the individual soul. Okay, moving ahead. 15.
Shravani Mataji will recite.
Who, Prabhu?
Shravani Mataji.
Shivangi Mataji. Okay. Is Mataji on mute? I don't know. Okay. Okay. So let me recite this one.
Can I? Okay.
You know, go
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. Can't hear you now. Okay, while Mataji fixes, can someone else please go ahead? Let me go. Sarvendriya gunabhasam sarvendriya vivarjitam
Okay.
asaktam sarvabhrichaiva nirgunam grena bhokricha. So Mataji, you can recite the next one then, okay? The super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses, he is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time he is the master of all the modes of material nature. So now we are understanding about Krishna. And this is a very, very rare knowledge, and only whom Krishna blesses will be able to understand it as it is. The Supreme Lord, although the source of all the senses of the living entities, doesn't have material senses like they have. Actually, the individual souls have spiritual senses, but in conditioned life, they are covered with the material elements, and therefore the sense activities are exhibited through matter. So all of us actually have spiritual sense. We all are spiritual. Yeah. So now I remembered what I wanted to say that time. We are mostly unhappy. Let's say we are in a foreign country. Someone moves to country XYZ. So in initial days, you will feel really, really sad and depressed, and you will feel homesick. But when there is call from our parents, our loved ones, we become so happy. And when there's a question of going back, like, okay, now I have to go back. So we count the days. In 30 days, I'll be going back to my home country, 29 days, 28 days, like that. And then we are so happy, isn't it? Now we just have to understand that in reality, we are all from Vaikuntha planet, Golok Vrindavan Dham. And that is the root cause that why we are unhappy in this world. I think it was Jim Carrey who said, one of the greatest actors of Hollywood, he said that let everyone in this world become rich. I pray everyone becomes rich so that they know that money does not buy happiness. Money is not the solution. Nothing is the solution actually. You ask someone who has everything, still they won't be happy. There would be something that's missing, and that something is because we are on a foreign land. You bring a fish outside water and you say, I will give you 56 bhog item every day to eat. I will give you the best milk, Kesar milk. I will give you the best Sprite 7 or whatever it is. I will give you the best kind of meals, the best clothing, the best flowers and everything. Do you think the fish is going to be happy with all those offerings? No. Similarly, we are like that fish. No matter whatever we achieve in this material world, but because we belong to a different set of environment. The fish belongs in water and the fish is outside the water. It cannot be happy. That is why we are not happy. We are never satisfied. So this is the root cause of our depression, of our unhappiness. But now we have understood. So you would say, so why don't I feel happy? We should be feeling so ecstatic. This chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is like a drug actually. The first time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got this Diksha mantra, this Hare Krishna Maha mantra from his Guru Maharaj, he became completely mad and he could not contain himself. When he started chanting, he would jump in the air. He would dance, he would cry, he would fall down. So he thought he has been possessed by a ghost or something. So he came back to his spiritual master. And then he says, my Guru Maharaj, I think you have given me the wrong mantra. Why? Because when I take this mantra, I become mad. I don't know what happens to me. I start shivering. There are tears rolling down my cheek. I dance. I laugh like a madman. I fall to the ground. I fall unconscious all the time. So Madhavendra Puri, he smiled and he said, this is actually the result. This is how you have to chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is the result of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But because Mahaprabhu is transcendental, he has come directly from Golok, he is Krishna and Radharani. So he is tasting. We would also taste the same thing. Why are we unable to do that? Why cannot we taste? Why don't we feel like we should live in the temple 24 hours or we should be with the devotees? It's because of the material conditioning. We have been conditioned so hard in so many millions of lifetimes that now it is very difficult for us to go back to our original identity. We are in coma. We have completely forgotten ourselves. And that is why the devotees come to remind us, because we are in coma. You might have seen many movies when the couple, they are in coma, one of them gets into an accident, the girl is in coma, she cannot remember the husband. So the husband starts doing all the things they used to do before. He is taking care of the wife, he's singing songs, he's writing poems, whatever, etc., etc. And finally the girl remembers, oh yes, he's my husband. And then she gets married to the husband. This is our story as well, where we have forgotten everything. But now the devotees, our guru, the acharyas, they are coming and they are reminding us that you are not this person, you are in coma. Wake up. Jiva jago, Gaura Chandra bole. Gaura Chandra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, wake up. Wake up to the reality. This is not who you are. Do not find happiness because you can never actually, you can try, it's all futile. So yeah, our real senses are spiritual senses, but in conditioned life, because we are conditioned, they are covered with the material elements, and therefore the sense activities are exhibited through matter. The Supreme Lord's senses are not so covered. His senses are transcendental and are therefore called nirgun. Gun means the material modes, but his senses are without material covering. It should be understood that his senses are not exactly like ours. Although he is the source of all sensory activities, he has his transcendental senses, which are uncontaminated. That is, this is very nicely explained in the Shvetashvatar Upanishad 3.19 in the words Apani Pado Javano Grahita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no hands which are materially contaminated, but he has his hands and accepts whatever sacrifice is offered to him. That is the distinction between the conditioned soul and the super soul. He has no material eyes, but he has eyes. Otherwise, how could he see? He sees everything past, present, and future. He lives within the heart of the living being, and he knows what we have done in the past, what we are doing now, and what is awaiting us in the future. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani cha arjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mamtu vedana kaschana. I know past, present, future of all the living entities of our earth. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad-gītā. He knows everything, but no one knows him. Mamtu vedana kaschana. Me, no one knows. It is said that the Supreme Lord has no legs like us, but he can travel throughout space because he has spiritual legs. In other words, the Lord is not impersonal, like our Jagannath. He has no hand. He has hands, but he has no legs. But still, he travels like the king of the world on his chariot, right? He has his eyes, legs, hands, and everything else. And because we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, we also have these things. But his hands, legs, eyes, and senses are not contaminated by material nature. Bhagavad-gītā also confirms that when the Lord appears, he appears as he is by his internal potency. He is not contaminated by the material energy because he is the Lord of material energy. What do we understand by this? When Lord appears in this material world, for us, when we come to this material world, it is Durga Devi, Maya Devi, who takes control of ourselves. But when Krishna has to come, it's not Maya Devi, it's Antaranga Shakti, it's Subhadra Devi, his sister. She takes control of Krishna by the will of Krishna, because Krishna has to perform his activities with Mother Yashoda. Now, if he remembers that he is God, then he will not be able to relish the pastimes with Mother Yashoda. So he says to Mother Subhadra that you make me forget I am God. But at the same time, I should never forget that I am Krishna. Now, this is a very, very difficult statement to understand, but still let's go with this. He remembers that he is Krishna, but he forgets that he is God. Because he forgets he is God, he is scared when Mother is running with a stick. He gets so much tensed when Radharani does Man Leela, when she becomes upset with him. Now he's crying, he's shivering. But if he remembered he were God, then he would say, why I am God. No need for me to be tense, no need for me to be angry or scared. So that is why by his own will, it's only the internal potency that works on Krishna, but still by the will of Krishna. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvata tyakva deham punarjanma naiti mameti. So Arjuna, 4th chapter, 9th verse of Bhagavad-gītā. He says, Janma karma cha me divyam. It is my birth and my activities are divya, they are transcendental, they are beyond this material scope. They are completely spiritual. One who knows this by fact, in reality, upon leaving their body, they are not going to come back again to this material world. They'll come back to me. Okay, so he's not contaminated. In the Vedic literature, we find that his whole embodiment is spiritual. He has his eternal form called Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. He is full of all opulence. He is the proprietor of all wealth and the owner of all energy. He is the most intelligent and is full of knowledge. These are some of the symptoms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the maintainer of all living entities and the witness of all activity. As far as we can understand from Vedic literature, the Supreme Lord is always transcendental. Although we do not see his head, face, hands, or legs, he has them. And when we are elevated to the transcendental situation, we can see the Lord's form. Due to materially contaminated senses, we cannot see his form. Therefore, the impersonalists who are still materially affected cannot understand the personality of Godhead, like Prahlad Maharaj. He was completely absorbed in Narayan, Lord Hari's name. That is why he could see Lord Narasimha inside the pillar. Hiranyakashipu and the complete assembly could not see. Ito Narasimha, Parato Narasimha, Yato Yami Tato Narasimha. Bahir Narasimha, Hridaye Narasimha, Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapate. Prahlad Maharaj was on this platform, he could see. So we need eyes to actually see God. God is still, when I'm speaking to you, Krishna is with me also and Krishna is with you. With every one of you, he is sitting and he is listening to our conversation. But we cannot see him. And he is there with Radharani actually. And this is not something I have made up. This is from Shastra. This is from Puran. That wherever Bhagavad-gītā is being discussed, spoken, read, studied, Lord Krishna appears there with Radharani to hear those conversations. Wherever Ramayana has been spoken, heard, recited, Lord Hanuman, he is there to hear those conversations. Wherever Bhagavatam is being recited, Prahlad Maharaj, he is there to hear those conversations. So these are not just made up words, these are the praman of Shastra. So again, therefore the impersonalists who are still material affected cannot understand the personality of Godhead. We need the eyes of God to see God. Like we need the mercy actually. 16. Yes, Shubhami Mataji, if you can you try to speak?
Yes,
I think she might have some issues. Anyway, Aman Prabhu, who is next?
Priyanshi Mataji, Prabhuji.
Sure.
बाहिरन्तश्च भूतानाम् अचरं चरम् एव च सूक्ष्मत्वात् तद् अविज्ञेयम् दूरस्थं चान्तिके च तत्.
Translation.
The Supreme Truth exists outside and inside of all living beings, the moving and the non-moving, because he is subtle. He is beyond the power of the material senses to see or to know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all.
In Vedic literature, we understand that Narayan, the Supreme Person, is residing both outside and inside of every living entity. He is present in both the spiritual and material worlds. Although he is far, far away, still he is near to us. These are the statements of Vedic literature, Katha Upanishad 1-21. And because he is always engaged in transcendental bliss, We cannot understand how he is enjoying his full opulence. We cannot see or understand with these material senses. Therefore, in the Vedic language, it is said that to understand him, our material mind and senses cannot act. But one who has purified his mind and senses by practicing Krishna consciousness in devotional service can see him constantly. It is confirmed in Brahma Samhita that the devotee who has developed love for the Supreme God can see him always without separation, and it is confirmed in Bhagavad-gītā 11:54 that he can be seen and understood only by devotional service. Bhaktyatva ananyaya shakya. So these things are difficult to understand, but there have been so many instances in our current world as well. So once there was a devotee, a Babaji, and the Babaji was in, I think it was in, he was in Ayodhya, or I think Vrindavan. Let's go with Vrindavan. So he was in Vrindavan. It's a true story. And it was morning time. And there was Mangala Arati going on, Bhakti Bihari Ji and all the other temples. But Babaji was sleeping. So one of the new devotees of the ashram, he said, "What is this, Babaji? Why is he sleeping? Why is he sleeping?" So another person said, he said that I should wake him up. So other person, senior devotee said, no, don't dare do that. He's not sleeping. He said, no, I see him, he's sleeping. No, he's not sleeping. So then after some time, the Babaji woke up. So they just went about their daily routine. So this new devotee asked, Babaji, you were sleeping in the morning. Tell me the truth. Babaji said, no, I was not sleeping. I was actually in Ayodhya. Really? But I saw you were sleeping. No, I was in Ayodhya. What were you doing? So he said, in Saryoji, all of a sudden there was a flood. And there was a small boy with his mother, and the small boy was drowning in the river. And I jumped in the river and I saved that small boy. And the mother, she thanked me. So he laughed at Babaji. He said, what is this nonsense? How can you say this? I saw you. You were just making up stories because you were sleeping during Mangalarati. And then after some time, a day or two later, it came in the news that there was flood in river Saryu, and there was one saint, Babaji, who saved a small boy who was drowning, and the mother thanked the Babaji. There was this whole interview. Now this person, this devotee, was completely awestruck. How is this possible? So then the other devotees explained that these are the Babajis of Vrindavan. These are not regular people like you and I. These are Siddha Santa. They have all the Siddhis. It's just that they don't show those Siddhis to others. So there are Ashta Siddhis. Ashta Siddhi Navanidhi ke Data Asbar Deen Janaki Mata Ram Sayan Tamaro Basa Sada Rava Raghupati ke Dasa. In Hanuman Chalisa we read this, right? So because Lord Hanuman also had the Ashta Siddhis, the eightfold mystic powers and Navanidhi. So these people, so just with these Siddhis, they can be at two places at a time. He was sleeping in Vrindavan and at the same time he was saving a boy from drowning in Ayodhya. So you can understand, if, of course, he is a great saint, he's a Babaji, this is a true story. So just imagine how God would be. If his devotees are so advanced and so mystically powerful and potent, then we can only imagine the power and the Aishwarya of Lord Krishna. So still, only if he has someone who has the mercy of Lord Krishna will be able to understand these pastimes of Lord Krishna. 13.17.
अविभक्तं च भूतेषु विभक्तं इव च स्थितं भूतभरत्र तज्ज्ञेयं ग्रासिष्णु प्रभविष्णु च. Although the super soul appears to be divided among all beings, he is never divided. He is situated as one. Although he is the maintainer of every living entity, it is to be understood that he devours and develops all.
The Lord is situated in everyone's heart as the super soul. Who is super soul? Paramatma, the Shirodakshay Vishnu. So by now you must have understood the hierarchy. The original person is Krishna. Krishna is Bhagwan Swayam. From Krishna comes Lord Balram, his first expansion. When Krishna needs to be served, then he takes the avatar of Lord Balram. When Lord Balram has to serve Krishna outside of Vrindavan, he takes different forms as Sankarshan and then Narayan, then the Chaturvyu, and the Chaturvyu expands into the three Vishnus. The first Vishnu is Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu expands into Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is the father, the mother of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma creates this whole material world. We all are already created in the spiritual sky, but then we come to this material sky via the medium of Mahavishnu. And then Lord Brahma gives us the shape that we are today, male, female, white, black, animal, insect, birds. And then Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is the father of Brahma, Lord Brahma, he expands as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, and he expands as into each and every atom he enters as Paramatma. So the Paramatma or the super soul within us is Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. Okay? Does this mean that he has become divided? No, actually he is one. The example is given of the sun. The sun at the meridian is situated in its place, but if one goes for 5,000 miles in all directions and asks where is the sun, everyone will say that it is shining on his head. In the Vedic literature, this example is given to show that although he is undivided, he is situated as if divided. Also, it is said in Vedic literature that when Vishnu is present everywhere, by his omnipotence, just as the sun appears in many places to many persons, and the Supreme Lord, although the maintainer of every living entity, devours everything at the time of annihilation. For example, when the sun is shining, you keep 100 pots filled with water. So you will find in each pot there would be sun. So a child may say there are 100 suns because he's seeing 100 different sun in different pots. That is partially true, but in reality there is only one sun that is shining in the sky. Similarly, there is only one Krishna, but then he is expanded into different Vishnus, and then the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is expanded into Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is in each and every atom of this material universe. This was confirmed in the 11th chapter when the Lord said that he had come to devour all the warriors assembled at Kurukshetra. Kalo Asmi. I am time, I am, and I have come to kill everyone. He also mentioned that in the form of time, he devours also. He is the annihilator, the killer of all. When there is creation, he develops all from their original state, and at the time of annihilation, he devours them. The Vedic hymns confirm the fact that he is the origin of all living entities and the best of all. After creation, everything rests in his omnipotence, and after annihilation, everything again returns to rest in him. Understood? After creation, everything rests in his omnipotence. Matta parataratnamyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sutram idam. What is the third and fourth line? Is there anyone who remembers? The English translation is that just like the pearls are sticking together on the thread, isn't it? You see a bead, so it is all stuck together on the thread. So Krishna says, Sutre Mani Gana Iva, that I am that thread, and on me everything is resting. Bhagavad-gītā 7.7. So that is his omnipotence. He is everywhere. That is why we are all pervading. And he annihilates everything again in the form of Rudra, Lord Shiva, his expansion of Lord Krishna. And then when everything is annihilated, everything returns to rest in him. So we all go inside the body of Mahavishnu or Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and then we rest there, and then Lord Brahma again starts his creation for the next day. These are the confirmations of Vedic hymns in the Taittiriya Upanishad 3.1. Next verse.
Comment करो प्रभुजी.
ज्योतिषामपि तज्ज्योतिस्तामस परमुच्यते ज्ञानं नेयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदि सर्वस्य विष्टितम्. Translation. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge. He is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart.
The Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the source of light in all luminous objects like the sun, moon, and stars. In the Vedic literature, we find that in the spiritual kingdom, there is no need of sun or moon because the effulgence of the Supreme Lord is there. 15.7. Na tad bhashyate surya na shashanko na pavaka. Yat gatva na nivartante tad dham paramam mama. So Krishna is giving the description of Vaikuntha. He is saying that in my home, there is no need of sun or the moon or even the electricity. In the material world, that Brahma Jyotir, the lost spiritual effulgence is covered by the Mahatattva. The material elements, therefore, in this material world, we require the assistance of sun, moon, electricity, etc. for light. But in the spiritual world, there is no need of such things. It is clearly stated in the Vedic literature that because of his luminous effulgence, everything is illuminated. It is clear, therefore, that his situation is not in the material world. He is situated in the spiritual world, which is far, far away in the spiritual sky. That is also confirmed in the Vedic literature, Shvetashvatara Upanishad 3.8. He is just like the sun, eternally luminous, but he is far, far beyond the darkness of the material world. His knowledge is transcendental. The Vedic literature confirms that Brahman is concentrated transcendental knowledge. To one who is anxious to be transferred to that spiritual world, knowledge is given by the Supreme Lord who is situated in everyone's heart. One Vedic mantra, Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.18 says, one must surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be at all wants liberation. As far as the goal of ultimate knowledge is concerned, it is also confirmed in Vedic literature. Only by knowing him can one surpass the boundary of birth and death. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 3.8. Now, again, we have to understand this, and this is very practical for all of us. You will see people fighting on internet. Lord Shiva is great. Lord Shiva is God. Everything comes from him. Someone would say, no, Mother Durga, she is the origin of everything. Someone would say Lord Krishna is the origin. Someone would say Lord Ram is the origin. See, there is no need to fight. There is no need to argue and waste someone's time. It is clear. You first need to know your goal. My goal is to go back to Vaikuntha Dham, or my goal is to go back to Kailash Dham, or my goal is to become the best of the Bhoot Pret, or my goal is to become the best of the architect. So as per my goal, I will choose my path. Now, if someone wants to become a demon and they are worshipping and they are doing black magic, so let them be, let them do. You cannot go and fight with them. It's just wasting your time. Our path is that we have to go to Vaikuntha. It is just sure. There is no doubt. So if someone comes and says anything, there is no need actually to go and waste one's time. That no, you know what, this is what it is. Yes, by fact, we must know. And if someone is curious, then we can present the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that this is what it is. But if someone, and also one more thing, understand that on the level of how the philosophy fails, meaning that you cannot go to Barsana and say there that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They will beat you with stick. For them, Radharani is the Supreme. You cannot argue because that is on bhav level. You go to Ayodhya, there you cannot and you should not say that Lord Krishna is greater than Lord Ram and Lord Krishna has this much gold and Lord Ram. No, that is not the way. That is not the correct place to discuss all those things. They are completely in love with Ram Lala. So for them, Lord Ram is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ayodhya Dham is the topmost Dham because they are on the Bhav platform. Then this is not very appealing to go and then fight, because I've seen people just going and poking their nose that no, Golok Dham is greater than Saket Dham. No, why? They're same. There is no difference between Lord Ram and Lord Krishna, or for the same fact, Shaivites and Vaishnavites. So this is just a waste of time. If someone is completely in love with Lord Shiva, let them be in love with Lord Shiva. There is no harm. He is greatest Vaishnava. He is in Kailash. He's a Tattva actually. If someone wants to reside in Kailash Dham, let them reside in Kailash Dham. No need to pull them somewhere else, right? So we have to understand all these things, that we have to know our goal, where are we going, which train are we boarding on, and then just be peaceful about it. If someone is curious, tell them. If someone is not curious, then just let it be. Okay. Now he's situated in everyone's heart as the Supreme Controller. The Supreme has legs and hands distributed everywhere. And this cannot be said of the individual soul. Therefore, there are two nodes of the field of activity, the individual soul and the super soul must be admitted. One's hands and legs are distributed locally, but Krishna's hands and legs are distributed everywhere. This is confirmed in the Shveta Upanishad 3.17 that Supreme Personality of Godhead Super Soul is the Prabhu or Master of all living entities. Therefore, he is the ultimate children of all living entities. So there is no denying the fact that the Supreme Super Soul and the individual souls are always different. So when we call each other as Prabhu, that does not mean we become God. It means that we need to imbibe godly qualities within us. 19th verse.
ईशानी माता जी प्रभु
Shyama Saki Mataji.
हरे
ईशानी माता जी
इति क्षेत्रं तथा ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं चोक्तं समासतः मद्भक्ता एतद् विज्ञाय मद्भावायोपपद्यते. Thus the field of activities, knowledge and the knowable have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature.
Yeah. So the field of activity that is the body, knowledge. So Krishna has given a complete list in 13.12 about what knowledge is, and he says, this is my opinion and everything that is not in this list is not knowledge. And the noble, who is noble? That there is soul, there is a super soul, and these are distinct. These are two individuals. We are not super souls. We are souls. We belong to the super soul. If someone knows this, then he says that they attain to my nature, meaning that they will come back to me. So let me go with this purpose. The Lord has described in summary the body, knowledge, and the noble. This knowledge is of three things: the knower, the noble, and the process of knowing. Combined, these are called Vigyan, or the science of knowledge. Now, Gyan and Vigyan. What is the difference? Gyan means knowledge, and Vigyan, science, means knowledge plus experience. Realized knowledge is called Vigyan, and just knowledge is called, practical knowledge is called Gyan or science. Okay? Perfect knowledge can be understood by the unalloyed devotees of the Lord directly. Others are unable to understand. Some monists say that at the ultimate stage, these three atoms become one, but the devotees do not accept this. Knowledge and development of knowledge mean understanding oneself in Krishna consciousness. So, the other day I gave you the example given by Amogila Prabhu that God is going to buy God from God. If we have to go and buy tomatoes, so as per the monists, what they say, we are God, the shopkeeper is God, and the tomatoes are God. So God is going to God, and the God is bargaining with the God that do not give me the tomatoes for 15 rupees, give me for 10 rupees. And then there is a back and forth argument between two gods, while the other god, sometimes the other god, that is tomato, is rotten as well. So how stupid that sounds, isn't it? So this is not accepted by the Vaishnavas, that everything becomes one. No, that is not the reality. We are being led by material consciousness, but as soon as we transfer all consciousness to Krishna's activities and realize that Krishna is everything, then we attain real knowledge. In other words, knowledge is nothing but the preliminary stage of understanding. Devotional service perfectly. In the 15th chapter, this will be very clearly explained. Now, to summarize, when we understand the verses 6 and 7, beginning from Mahabhutani and continuing through Chetana Vritti, analyze the material elements and certain manifestations of the symptoms of life. These combine to form the body or the field of activities. And verses 8 through 12 from Amanitvam to Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam describe the process of knowledge for understanding those types of knower of the field of activities, namely the soul and the super soul. Then verses 13 through 18 beginning from Anadimat Param and continuing through Vriddhi Sarvasya Vishtitam describe the soul and the supreme soul or the super soul. Thus, three items have been described: the field, that is the body, the process of understanding, and both the soul and the super soul. It is especially described here that only the unalloyed devotees of the Lord can understand these three items clearly. So for these devotees, Bhagavad-gītā is fully useful. It is they who can attain the supreme goal, the nature of the supreme Lord, Krishna. In other words, only devotees and not others can understand Bhagavad-gītā and derive the desired result. What does it mean? That we, the Jeev, we are all soul. We are not this body. Body is different. Body is just the field of activity, and then we can change field. Year after year means life after life we change this field, but we remain the same. Who is we? We are soul. Are we God? No, we are not God. We are all part and parcel of Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we just understand this thing, for few of you, it must be so simple. You must be thinking, it is so simple. Why is Prabhuji repeating again and again? Why is Prabhupada saying the same things again and again? Why is Krishna repeating the same things again and again? Because it has taken us millions of lifetimes to understand this. And still, there may be few of you who would say that, oh no, we don't believe. God and us, we are same, we are God. So that is why it is said that only a devotee will be able to understand this concept, and one who understands this simple concept that we are not this body, we are soul, and we are not Krishna, we are not the super soul, we are different from super soul, we have to serve the super soul. If we just understand this, it is confirmed, it is guaranteed that we are all going back to Krishna. Okay. So I'm going to stop here. Please raise your hands if you have any question. Yes, Aman Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, that question when you were saying that Krishna forgot that he's a God, but he didn't forget that he's a Krishna. So that thing was not that much clarified. So Krishna is a God.
I told you, this won't we cannot understand that too. Krishna forgot by his own will. He said to Yogamaya that make me forget that I am God. Okay? Make me forget that I am God, but at the same time, I must remember that I am God. Now it is very difficult for us to understand, Prabhuji. We cannot even try to comprehend it, so don't go there.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. Yes, Prabhu, you were saying something?
Yes, a good example of when Krishna was going to see Mahavishnu to get the children of the Brahmana, he gave the spiritual vision or divine vision to Arjuna to go on the silver chariot to meet him. Mm-hmm. He mentioned divine vision at some stage.
That's right. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Yes, Subhashmita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is like Prabhupada described men should put more effort in devotion comparing to female. That I do agree. But here my question is, then why every time importance is given like female should play a major role in family, means like in bringing up children, if female will be more spiritual, then it will helpful for the kids. Why then in that case, if priority is given to male, then why in this particularly children upbringing, why it is considered female is means like plays a vital role?
Yeah, very good question, Mataji. First thing, this is not Prabhupada's verdict, this is Shastra. Ved Vyasa has written this, okay? Now let's try to understand this. So, Ved Vyasa has written this, that for the male, the path to going back to Godhead is very difficult. It's not easy. Because they have to follow all the rules and regulations. They have to wake up for Mangal Aarti. They have to do their Gayatri. They have to take Diksha. They have to take Brahman Diksha. They have to do the 3 times of Gayatri. Then they have to earn their livelihood. They have to give it charity. They have to serve their Guru. They have to serve the society. They have to do all these things. And at the same time, they have to remember God and then go back to Krishna. So this is very difficult for males to attain Krishna. But at the same time, Vedya says that for the women, it is very easy to attain Krishna. How can she do that? Just by serving the husband, she can go back to Godhead. Because if a wife is devoted to the husband, meaning she shares the responsibility so that the husband can perform all his duties. If she takes the center stage and does everything so that the husband is freely doing his worship and his work at the same time. So 50% of the results, what the husband has earned goes to the wife directly, And what the wife is doing, let's say you are doing 16 rounds. Your husband is doing 16 rounds. If you are connected and you're respectful towards your husband, so you will get the fruit of chanting 24 rounds every single day, while your husband only gets for 16 rounds. You see? So for the wife, things become 1.5 times more easier to go back to Krishna road. Now coming to your point, because you are assisting your husband, that is why you have to take care of the child, of the family, of the deities and everything. Because if you become devoted, there is guaranteed that the women of the house, they do the cooking. Now the times have changed. We are going into a bad time that no, why will the women cook and all these things. But I'm speaking about an idea. I'm speaking about Vaikuntha Lok. So in Vaikuntha Lok, it's the women who would do the cooking for the deities, for lordship. So if the women would cook, a devotee woman, when she cooks, she would only cook bhoga. She will not cook onion and garlic. She will not cook meat and all those nonsense, right? She would cook prasadam. She would offer bhoga. She would offer it to the deities. It will become prasadam. And then whatever the children are eating, whatever the in-laws, the husband is eating, it's all prasadam. So prasadam is the top way to make someone a devotee. Then, because she is with the child, she is training the child, and she is a devotee, so she will make the child also a devotee. So this is the role of women, Mataji. Now coming to your point, it is contextual. When it comes to reading Shastra, there it is said that the male have dominance. Because even throughout the history, you will see that the male figures, they are more inclined to hear and understand the Shastras rather than women. 2 examples I would give, and with utmost respect. This is just a Leela. Mother Parvati, when she was hearing Bhagavatam from Mahadev, she lost interest and then she slept. We all know the story, right? She slept because she was not interested in hearing Bhagavatam. Mother Sati goes to hear Ram Katha and she was not interested in hearing Ram Katha. She was all after Mahadev, come, let's go back to home. Mother Subhadra, when Arjun, he was telling her about the Chakra view, she was not interested. She slept. And that is why Abhimanyu, he could only hear how to go inside. He could not hear how to go outside because she slept, and then Arjun stopped speaking. So this is contextual, that when it comes to this context, the women, they take the backseat. But if, let's say, we had to speak about working in the kitchen or doing the household chores, there the woman will take the dominance. If someone would come to me and say, your wife cooks way better than you, so I will be proud of it. I will not say, oh, no, that is not the case. We are equals. No, I know she can cook better than me. I know she can do many things that is better than me. And that is why we say, Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar, Shri Shri Sita Ram, Uma Shankar. So whose name is coming first? Krishna's? No, Radha Rani, and then followed by Shyam Sundar. Radha Shyam Sundar, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Radha Govind. So it's first Radha and then Krishna. Sita Ram. It is never Ram Sita. It is always Sita Ram. Mother is coming first. Parvati Shiv. Or Uma Shankar. Uma is Mother Parvati, and then Lord Shiva's name is taken. So it is contextual. There the dominances of of the mothers, and when it comes to Shastra, the dominances of the Prabhujis. Is that clear, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Very good.
Okay. One other question I have.
Yeah, Prabhu.
When two people are meeting, usually you'll find if A wants to get the favor of B, A will usually get a gift for the wife of B.
Yeah.
This happened even now in normal circumstances.
That's right.
The wife of B can ask B to help A.
Yeah, that's right. And now the times have changed, Prabhu. Now you have to bring gifts for the dogs, so that the master of the dog will be happy. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a joke, but that is the reality of Kali Yuga. If you want to please someone, you please their dog, so that the man will become happy. that my dog was given due reward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Prabhupada mentioned that at some stage.
Yeah, he did. Yes.
He did, yeah, mentioned about the dog, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question? Okay then. So thank
Prabhuji,
you for...
tomorrow fasting till noon or whole
Yeah. Thank you for the question again. I will write in the group as well. So tomorrow the fasting is until moonrise. Okay? Or sunset. So Mahaprabhu appeared during the sunset. Okay? So we have to do the fasting until sunset, and then we can take Ekadashi Prasadam because most of us will be in the temple. So we'll break our fast with Ekadashi Prasadam. Tomorrow is the best day for Vaishnavas. I cannot emphasize this more and more. We think it's Janmashtami or we think it's Radhashtami. They are all important, but Gaur Purnima is the most important because it is Radha Rani and Krishna combined in their Mahavadanya avatar. This has never been done before. Mahaprabhu only comes once in Lord Brahma's day, and we just missed him by 550 years, but still we are in his radar, so we can go back to Krishna Lok just by pleasing him at least once on Gaur Purnima. Okay? So yeah, I'll write that in the group, Mataji. Until sunset, we need to keep the fast.
fast means it's like Nirjala or it means like...
Yeah, ideally it should be Nirjala, but because you are working, you can do normal fast with fruits and water and everything. So this is not like a punishment thing. It just
it depends on the body condition.
Yeah, exactly. It depends. Ideally, you have to do Nirjal fast and then break your fast during the sunset after the Aarti, Gaur Aarti. Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. Vanchakalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanama bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah ananta koti vaishnav vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.